I'm Maria, and today we are going to learn how to add background images to single pages, posts, and content blocks in WordPress. You can upload a background image for your entire website, place it behind buttons, or set a solid color background for your login page. But what if you want to place a background image on a single page or post, or even a single block? Well, you've come to the right place because we are going to help you in this video. But before we get too far, I want to let you know that there will be links to more resources in the video's description. And remember, subscribe and ring that bell to get notifications for future helpful content. Okay, let's get started. Many people enjoy adding backgrounds to their pages because you can incorporate a certain theme or field to a page that applies to the content. For example, an About Us page could have a Los Angeles background if the company is in LA. Or an introduction to an author's book could include a background that fits the theme of the story. Now we'll talk through adding a WordPress background image to a page using one primary method and a few alternatives if you don't mind spending money on a plugin or opting for a page builder. For page-specific backgrounds, these methods seem to work best. Adding a unique page background with custom CSS. Using a plugin that allows for individual page backgrounds. Incorporating a custom background on each page with the help of a page builder. Adding your own custom CSS to a page involves finding the class ID for the page and calling for a background URL within the custom CSS module in the WordPress page settings. Luckily, it's not that difficult to figure out the class ID of a page, considering we can look it up or you may already know what it is. Go to the page on your site where you want a background for that page only. Right-click anywhere on the page to reveal a drop-down menu on your screen. Select the Inspect tool at the bottom of the drop-down menu. The Inspect module displays coding from the page itself, along with custom CSS used globally for your website. It's a useful area for locating information about a page or post on your site. The Inspect box has lines of code from the page, but we're only interested in the class tag assigned to this page in particular. To clarify, each WordPress page has a class tag as an identification code. Use the search function and type in body or class to locate the line of code with the page ID tag. In this instance, the ID is page ID 352, but yours will differ. You want to copy the entire part of the code with the page ID hashtag keyword, including the dashes. With a page ID saved somewhere for use in the next few steps, go back to your WordPress dashboard and click on Appearance and then Customize. Select the additional CSS tab in the WordPress Customizer. This section allows you to type or paste in any custom CSS you want to manipulate items throughout your website. In this case, it comes in handy for overriding the default background image and enabling a background image for one page and not the others. Paste the following code into the additional CSS field, but remember to replace the hashtag with the actual number you pulled as a page ID from the previous steps. Also, you must put a real image URL in place of the filler text we have in there. For this example, the page ID is filled in as 352, and we have a background image URL pasted in from our media library. If necessary, please change the custom background settings if you have trouble fitting the screen's background image. For example, you may want to modify elements like the WordPress background image size, attachment, or position. If not, leave them all as they are in the example code. Click on the Publish button when you're satisfied with the custom CSS. With a custom CSS, the page specified includes a background image using the code sizing and positioning settings. No other page on your site will show the same background unless you repeat the CSS for different page IDs. As mentioned before, your other options for adding a unique background to the WordPress page include using a page builder or plugin that allows for background images on individual pages. However, the cheapest and quickest way to place a background image on an individual page is to use this CSS code method. Most background images get inserted behind WordPress pages or every page throughout a website. The default custom background feature in WordPress has nothing to do with individual posts, besides the fact that this background will show up for the blog posts as well. That's not ideal for all organizations because different blog posts could have drastically different topics. Such blogs could benefit from their own unique background images. However, WordPress posts don't have their own background image setting, making it a little trickier. Therefore, we have a few options to consider when adding a background image to a post. Insert a background image using custom CSS. Use a plugin to implement a background on individual posts. Install a visual page builder for post backgrounds. Like the previous section about unique page backgrounds, you can add a post-specific background using a page builder or plugin. Seeing as making a post-specific background isn't much different from a page-specific one, we'll only touch briefly on the steps to handle this process for an individual post. When using custom CSS to implement a post-specific background, you use the same code as you would for the page background, with one difference. You must find the post ID as opposed to the page ID. Therefore, open up the front end of a WordPress post where you'd like to insert a background. Right-click on the post and choose the Inspect option. Complete a search within the code to locate the body class section in the code. Look for the post ID #part. That's the post ID you need to insert into the custom CSS. You'll notice that the formatting for the post ID is slightly different in this example compared to the page ID, where the post ID hashtag doesn't have a dash between post and ID like it has with page ID hashtag. Also, these aren't hard rules. You can find varied formats for the tags. Now, go to your WordPress dashboard and click on Appearance and then Customize. Navigate to the Additional CSS tab. Paste the following code into that custom CSS field. After that, take the post ID number you found from the desired post before. Replace the hashtag in the CSS code with the number. Also change the YourImageURL.jpg text with the real URL of the background image you'd like to show, keeping the quotation marks around it. Make sure you hit the Publish button before leaving the Additional CSS tab, as this saves your changes on the website and allows you to view the background on the front end. With those CSS changes in place, you can now go back to the front end of the WordPress blog post to see the new background. Test the other blog posts and pages on your site to see that none of the other ones have a background unless you implement the same code for those post IDs. The WordPress Gutenberg block editor's individual content blocks allow for a wide range of context display options, including text boxes, images, and galleries. These break up your content into separate sections, so you can add a background color or image just for that block. For example, let's say you're writing a blog post about the retail clothing industry status. You want to end or begin the post with a call to action for people to sign up for your next webinar. It would make sense to have this section stand out by using a background color or image. Unfortunately, the WordPress block editor doesn't offer an all-encompassing setting where you can add a background to any block. However, some blocks have the option to incorporate a color background. There's also one block called a cover block, which is the closest thing we can add a background image for one block in a post or page. The cover allows you to overlay text in some media items, making it suitable for our end goal. The simplest way to add some liveliness to a single block is to add a color background. It's not as fancy as an image background, but the color background is actually the only type of background in the WordPress block editor available for the standard blocks. The paragraph block, for example, has a setting to activate a color background. To turn this on, select the block, then locate the color settings under the block tab on the right side. This section reveals text color and background color fields. Go to the background color area and select a color from the list of available options. You can also choose the custom color link to insert your own color code or choose a unique color. As you can see, once that setting is in place, the paragraph block's background turns to a different color, in this case, blue. As mentioned before, not all WordPress blocks have this built-in WordPress feature. What should you do if you want to make a gallery or some other block element that doesn't offer the background option? The quickest solution is to use the group block feature in WordPress. To do so, select multiple blocks already in your content. For this example, I'll select both a paragraph block and a gallery block simultaneously. Click the stacked square icon on the menu that appears. Choose the group option in the drop-down menu. This takes whatever blocks you currently have selected and combines them into a group, allowing you to move or edit them all together instead of separate blocks. This sets the group as its own block. It means you can go to the Block Settings tab on the right side of the page to find its settings. Look for the Color Settings tab and click on that. Much like a standard paragraph block, the group block also has a background color feature. Choose the color you like the most for this situation to see that everything within that group should now have that color background. What's great about the group block is that it takes another block that doesn't have a background feature, like the gallery block, and allows you to activate a background for it anyway. WordPress blocks are in both pages and posts. Therefore, we can implement this tactic in either one. You can insert just about any content above the grouped block's background, or only in one WordPress block. To get started with this process, click the Add button or plus icon button and search for the cover block. Choose that block to insert it into your post or page. You must then click on the Upload or Select Media button, which allows you to search for images you can use as the background. Click the image you want and click the Select button. Now you can see that image as the background for the cover block. Feel free to click on that block to start typing in paragraph content, as the primary feature is for overlaying text. What's great about the cover block is that it offers several formatting options, allowing you to jump from a heading to a paragraph format in seconds. To add other blocks on top of that background, click the plus icon button from the cover block itself. You may have to hit the Enter key once to reveal the button. Much like adding a content block in a regular article, the cover block allows you to scroll through all potential content blocks in WordPress. That means you can place an image, gallery, columns, or any type of WordPress block within the cover block, making it the ideal solution for image backgrounds with an individual block. For this example, I inserted an image and formatted it to a bit to make it look more acceptable within the cover block. Each block you place in front of the background has its own custom setting in the right side block tab, so consider editing them as you drop them into the cover block. At some point, you may want to edit or customize the background image itself. If that's the case, choose the cover block, then go to the Block Settings tab on the right side of the page. This reveals a myriad of settings to adjust for the background image, including the following: fixed background, repeated background, focal point picker, dimensions, overlay, opacity, and advanced. One of the more important settings to consider is towards the bottom of the block settings panel. Scroll down to find the overlay section. Open the section to reveal a list of color overlays and options to make those colors solid or gradients. This is a great option for slightly changing your background color to match your brand or highlight foreground content. You can also adjust the opacity to ensure that the color overlay doesn't overwhelm the background altogether. As an alternative, consider the Stackable Page Builder Gutenberg Blocks plugin to open up more advanced tools for backgrounds on individual blocks. Kinsta's WordPress hosting can speed up your website by up to 200%. And you'll get 24/7 support from our expert WordPress engineers. Let us show you the Kinsta difference. Try a free demo of our My Kinsta dashboard at demo.kinsta.com. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials, explainers, and helpful content like this.